Have you ever wondered how people survived in the old times? How were they able to have daily food on the table and afford to buy things despite having a low income? Seems really impossible if you're living paycheck to paycheck nowadays. In this video, we will be talking about 10 old-fashioned frugal living tips that you can try today and find out how much you can really stretch out every dollar you earn. 14. Always find ways to be more frugal. Frugal people are not afraid to try new things, especially if doing so will help them save more money in the end. They always try challenging themselves so that they can cut the cost on wherever they spend their money. They look for more ways to stretch their dollar. For example, they look into their monthly budget regularly and per category try to cut back on other items if they could so that they can save some dollars. 13. Sell things no longer serving them. Frugal people do not hoard items if they could sell them. They look for clutter around their house, make an inventory of them, and put them up for sale in their garage or online. Whether it is designer clothes or bags or other home items they no longer use, they sell them whenever they can, not only to avoid clutter, but also to make some money from the activity. They also downsize whenever necessary and don't think twice to do it. After all, they can turn what others might consider trash into cash with some effort. Some of the places online where they can post their sale items include Facebook Marketplace and eBay. 12. Don't buy items to impress. Frugal people buy things not to impress other people nor compare themselves with them. Instead, they buy things they need or want for themselves. The point is, they don't try to keep up with the latest trends just to be told that they have a lot of money. They don't try to impress anyone with whatever they have or try to keep up with neighbors or social media friends. With this lifestyle that they are leading, they can manage their money better than some of us. It is because they are living within their means and are always on the lookout to save money. They also focus on their ultimate goal of staying out of debt and managing their finances well. 11. Don't buy items because they are branded. The frugal isn't a brand loyalist. Instead, they compare items on the shelf and determine which is the most valuable, not only in terms of price, but also quality. If the store brand products are as good as those branded ones on display, they buy them. Nevertheless, frugal people compare items by checking and reading labels too. They don't go for the most expensive product if they can buy a cheaper one that has the same quality. As they try to always make every dollar count, they want to spend it in the best way that they can. Practice this habit and see how much money you can save in the end. 10. Eat out, take out, or order in on special occasions only. Dining in at restaurants, ordering takeout, or making use of delivery services is one of the biggest expenses anyone has today. Eating out with friends and family has become a regular hobby for many people, and they use it as an excuse to bond with them, when in reality there are cheaper ways to bond with others. The older generation, at the time when they too were in the working class, would avoid dining out at restaurants for two main things. The food is unnecessarily expensive and they could cook better food at home. Dining out or ordering takeout should be reserved for special occasions like birthdays, wedding anniversaries, or family reunions. On regular days, you can always cook for yourself, as buying your own ingredients and washing your own dishes will not be a service you'll pay large amounts of money for. We're sure that delivery apps are no better at helping you control your temptation, so what you can do is delete them from your phone so it won't be easy for you to just tap in and order. However, if you really can't resist, then go for the option that will let you pick up the food, as this will save you tons of money in tips and gas fees. 9. Be a Fix It Felix. With how fast-paced the world has become, it has somehow been integrated into everyone's minds that once it's broken, it's better to just throw it away. This is the reason why large corporations massively produce items and introduce newer and more improved ones, as they know you'd rather just buy a new one and use an item to its full extent. People before used to be knowledgeable in a lot of things, especially the men and women who were willing to tear apart the electronics at home and fix it themselves. This simple act allowed them to save tons of money, as they didn't need to buy new appliances every time one of theirs broke. If they didn't know how to fix it, then they would opt to bring it to repair shops first and see if it can be saved, as this would allow them to save more than half the amount of money they would need to buy an entirely new appliance. 8. Put old clothing to good use. Another thing that the fast-paced world has created is fast fashion, where designer brands and off-brand sellers would make clothes that would go well with social media trends. This entices a lot of people to buy new clothes every time a trend comes up on social media, adding up to the pile of clothes they already have. This lets them think that old clothes can be just thrown away, especially when they are full of holes from all the wearing and tearing. However, people before put even the most worn and torn clothes to use, whether it be as rags or washcloths, to help them clean and dry things up. If they deem that it can still be put to good use, then they would rather patch up the holes and wear it again rather than just buy new clothes that can get ripped easily too. 7. Don't pay for it, do it yourself. Social media has put a lot of services famous on the internet, allowing users to easily contact those who offered the services in just a few taps. Many of these services include cleaning your homes, preparing your food, and even cleaning up your lawn and garden, among other things that you can do yourself. Most of the time, people overprice these services because they are so in demand, and while this gives more people jobs, it's best to say that these services should be saved for those who are already financially secure. Old-fashioned people save money because they would rather clean the house themselves than pay for these services. All you really need to do is to dedicate the time to do these chores, and if you can't do it all at once, then it's good to remember that the little things always add up into something bigger. 6. Stock up on affordable emergency food. All the markets know that people now would rather buy prepared food rather than plain ingredients, as it will save them from a lot of time and effort required in cooking. Thus, they sell ready-to-cook products that have hidden expenses behind them, so you end up paying more than what the ingredients actually cost themselves. These meals will not even last that long in your fridge or pantry, which means if you really want to avoid preparing your own meals, you'll have to cook them instantly and constantly buy new ones. People who were frugal before prepared their own food and learned how to cook because they knew it would be much cheaper if they did it themselves. Furthermore, they stock up on inexpensive food that would last long in their pantry, especially staple food like beans and rice. This prevented them from taking multiple trips to the store and still having food in cases of financial crisis. 5. Save the environment, get rid of disposables. Many people these days use disposable utensils so as to avoid washing dishes and wasting their time. However, that lifestyle is actually more expensive than using silverware and ceramics, as they would need constant replacement after every use. As compared to disposable utensils, silverware and ceramics can be washed, and they can even last for years or decades when taken care of properly. Aside from that, you'll also be contributing to the environmentalist movement, which is something good for both yourself and others. 4. Bring aprons back in style. Older people frequently used aprons when cooking and washing dishes, and if it looked unflattering at times, they wore it to save money and water. Aprons were made to protect your clothes from getting wet and stained while you do your chores, so you don't have to get rid of your clothes immediately after cleaning. What's more is that you don't have to also wash your aprons immediately, as you can wait until it gets unbearably soiled before you wash it together with your other clothes. 3. Enjoy the free stuff. Before the increase of malls, theme parks, and other recreational buildings, people used to hang out with their friends without spending a single cent. Even today, there are still things that you can do and enjoy with your friends for free, like taking a walk in the park, riding a bike with your friends, or hiking up a mountain. If you look hard enough, then you will find that there are so many other things you can do with your friends without worrying about having to spend money. Invite them to plan with you how you can hang out together and spend as little as you can, and that will make the trip even more enjoyable than you'd expect. 2. Used grocery plastic and paper bags can still be used. When you go to the grocery and forget to bring your own reusable bag, you often have to pay extra for a plastic or paper bag. But just because the bag is labeled as disposable doesn't mean you have to throw it right away, as you can always reuse the bags until they're completely worn down. For example, you can use the bag to line your trash cans, hold a bunch of prepackaged food when you want to give it to a friend, or use it as a vomit bag in case of emergencies. Either way, you'll be saving your money by no longer having to buy resealable bags that would cost more than actually using grocery bags. 1. Grow your own food. One of the best old-fashioned frugal living tips you can get is to grow your own food, the ones that you can grow in your hometown climate. In the long run, this saves you from buying ingredients that won't be as fresh as the ones you get from your garden, so get into gardening and reap the rewards. If you find the right crops to grow, then it won't be as expensive as social media puts it to be, as long as you know how to take proper care of your plants. Now that you know these old-style frugal living tips, you may want to try them out today. But before that, you need to know first the habits frugal people avoid at all cost. Click this to find out more. We also have a playlist of frugal living tips you might want to check out. Finally, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated with our latest content.